What's up, guys? It is Sunday, December 1st, 2024, MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, joined by my co-host here, Mr. Big Marcel. We're here to preview UFC 310, Pantoja versus Asakura. Final pay-per-view of the year, Marcel. We'll go through that card. 14 fights on it. We'll also do a short podcast after this. We'll do the PFL recap on that podcast, and we'll do fight announcements and stuff like that. So if you have questions about PFL, just wait till the next podcast, or just hold them to yourself for now, just because we want to stick to UFC 310 on this one, if that sounds good with you. Marcel, what's going on, man?
Yeah, man, not much, to be honest. Kind of a quiet week, to be really honest, man. I don't really mind. It's sometimes nice to have a week off. I don't really have a week off. I still have to work, but at the same time, it's not as much as how much to do, so sometimes it's nice. And looking forward, man, to the last pay-per-view of the year. Should be good, How about you?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's always kind of bittersweet when the year ends, to be honest with you, for me. It's like there's, I don't know, I always look at January 1st as like an opportunity to start fresh. And I accomplished some things I wanted to this year, but I was a little disappointed in myself personally, with some of the goals I had. I mean, I accomplished some goals, but there were some that, in my personal life and stuff, but, others I didn't reach. So, yeah, as far as the fights go, I mean, dude, I watch every card. You know that. I don't watch as much as our boy Zach, though. I mean, Zach watches literally every fucking event. Guys watching, Lux fighting series, North Iowa fights, everything. So,
bro, if there's
hustle, man.
If there's not a fight on, he's just going to the street asking.
Well, he's like this. He's like the Dave Chappelle thing. I don't know if you've seen that. He's like jonesing for something. So, yeah, that's our guy. But yeah, glad to have you guys in the chat. Let's get some comments. MMA, what's up, guys? Yeah, it is the last card. Joe, what's up, man? Eagles. I just watched the game, dude. Your Raiders suck, dude. They should have won that game. They should have actually beat Kansas City. Who else we got in the chat? Lazy Bear, what's up? Colostrum, what's up? You like the card? Yeah. Zach's in the chat. What's up, man? How's it going? Glad to have you here, dude. Zach's actually here, not watching some regional event that we don't even know what it was.
Yeah.
Did you watch that England event, Zach? That card? I don't know what it was. There was something on Fight Pass yesterday.
He probably did.
Some English dudes. I think he was actually. Guy just loves MMA. You gotta love it. You gotta respect the hustle, man. I respect it. So. And he was the one viewer of North Iowa fights last night. No, I'm joking, Zach. I'm sure there was actually a few people watching that. What was it? FCC. There we go. There is something tonight, Marcel. There you go. All right, let's get into the card, guys. As always, we'll use our sponsor here, bet105.eu, for the odds. So I always ask you this, Marcel, your thoughts overall on UFC 310. What do you think, top to bottom?
It's a pretty good card, but I think the order is kind of fucked up, So,
yep.
I mean, it doesn't make sense to have in my opinion, number one contender fight at 145, having that on the prelims under two 145 fights on the main card, who only one guy has a ranking to his name. That doesn't make sense, I think even a Randy Brown against a Bryan battle would have been more fun on the main card. Vicente Luque against Themba Gorimbo even, and a lot of people say Reyes Smith. I don't really agree with that, but I mean, it's a really weird bout order. It's a fun couple of fights, and we'll watch them all, But
of course,
it's kind of weird,
Yeah, we watch everything here, but yeah, I mean, I agree. I think overall, there's some really good fights. I actually think the prelim, the televised prelim portion is amazing. Those four fights. Well, actually, I would say, yeah, the four of them actually. I thought Weidman Andrews was on there. No, it's on the early prelims. It's even some of the early prelims are actually really good. The bout order is just fucking weird. Obviously, Gracie shouldn't be on the main card. We all know that, right?
Yeah, to be fair, and somebody else said as well, the prelims are crazy. It's yeah, but I can't really rate it because there are fights which should be on the main card and fights which should be in the prelim. So it kind of gives it a weird perspective. You know what I mean? It's not the best fights are not on the main card. At least some of them are not on the main card.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I mean, I think everyone's on the same page with this. It's just very odd, and I would say it's disrespectful, honestly. To be honest,
I agree.
Marcel. It makes people talk too. They're like, the UFC hates Aljamain Sterling. The UFC doesn't like Movsar Evloev. To be fair, Dana has said some negative comments about those guys, especially with Evloev. He didn't like the fight with Arnold Allen, which actually I was there when that fight was pretty good fight. It wasn't amazing, but it was good. And then with Sterling, I don't think the UFC ever loved him as the champion. Obviously, you saw Fight Inc. They pressured him to fight O'Malley when I don't think he was ready to take that fight. I think he was still a little sore, but yeah, I'll just say this: like the winner of this fight's not getting a title shot. I'll just say that right now.
Yeah.
Evloev's probably in the territory of John Fitch, where he might have to win like 10 fights in a row, Marcel, just because he's not the most exciting guy, even though he's good. And then with Sterling, it's like I think if he gets a finish, maybe he has a better chance. But even him, it's like they got. I don't know. I thought he looked great against Calvin Kattar personally, but
the UFC really loves Diego Lopez, man. I think if he wins his next fight, he gets a title shot, probably.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right, let's get into the fights, guys. Like I said, bet105.eu for all your fighting odds. Let's pull up the first fight here. We have a heavyweight bout between Kennedy Nzechukwu and Lukasz Brzeski. Kennedy's taking the fight on short notice, Marcel. Or sorry, he is actually, right?
He is.
Yeah, he took it on short notice. It was supposed to be Talishan Teixeira, right? Something? Yeah. So that was supposed to be the fight. Anyways, Kennedy comes in here minus 520 favorite, plus 350 on Lukasz. Yeah, I'm obviously not taking Brzeski. Who is? No one's going to pick this guy in this fight. He's not good. Like, he's probably the worst heavyweight right now on the roster, I would think. Like, right? Isn't he the lowest ranked guy? Like, it was clear they were trying to get that other guy to win, the Brazilian dude. Is there someone ranked lower than him? He's like 1-4, I think, isn't he? Is he 1-5?
Yeah, he's
he's 1-4. I guess Walter Walker lost to him, so yeah. Anyways, he's bottom of the barrel. He's not very good. His chin is not very good. He's got tall man defense. Kennedy's a huge guy. I think he looked amazing against Chris Barnett. Obviously, that was an easy fight for him. He was an even bigger favorite in that fight, to be honest. And Chris Barnett got injured or something, but regardless, I think he would have won. Kennedy's kind of a flaky guy. I don't love like the thought of laying a minus 500 price tag on him, but I think he destroys Lukasz. I think he wins the first round by knockout. There's no reason for me to pick Lukasz in this fight. I'm taking Kennedy first round knockout. I talked too much about this fight, I think. What do you think?
I literally was just going to say I'm not going to talk anymore about this fight. I've been taking Kennedy by first round knockout. I mean, the thing is with Kennedy is like he's not too consistent, so you never know what Kennedy you're going to get. But at the same time, I'm really not going to pick Lukasz Brzeski. So, picking Kennedy here. Kennedy is going to win.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it would be a pretty big upset if Lukasz won. How would Lukasz win? Like, would he have to like kind of wrestle him? I guess that would be the path, maybe.
Possible.
Possibly.
It's heavyweight, so pretty much everybody can knock everybody a knockout. So yeah. But I'm picking Kennedy, man.
Yeah. By the way, John's here. John, I don't think we disagree with you. We're just saying what Dana said after that card. 297. True. What's up, man? Kennedy's chin. I wouldn't lay minus 500 on him. I do think he wins. If you're going to take him, just take him by knockout. I think. I'd be surprised if he didn't win by knockout. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We have Chase Hooper taking on Clay Guida. The odds for this are pretty astronomical, Marcel. We have pull up here. It's huge, man. The line movement has gone heavily in Chase Hooper's favor. Minus 1,000 favorite, plus 600 Clay Guida. I listen again. I wouldn't lay minus 1,000 on Chase Hooper. Like, why would you? And the thing about these minus 1,000 favorites is like, yeah, they should win, and they often do. But if for some reason he loses, and there's a lot of ways to lose in MMA, like you can get hurt, the ref could fuck up, the judges could fuck it up. Like, there's a lot of ways to lose. Then it's like your parlay's dead for like a very small boost with the minus 1,000. So if you're gonna I'm obviously gonna pick Chase. He's way younger. Clay's like in his 40s. I can't pick Clay Guida. I'm obviously picking Chase, but I wouldn't lay the minus 1,000. I'm not even going to bother to parlay him. If anything, you would take him by submission, I think, because that's kind of what he excels at. And Clay's got a problem, I think, with the submission defense historically. He's been submitted quite a few times. So that'd be the way to go here. I do think the minus 1,000 is excessive, Marcel. Like, it opened a lot lower. Let me check what it was. It was I think like what, minus 300 or something. It was a lot shorter. So tons of money's coming on him. I get it. He should win. He's a lot younger. He's talented. I'll take him by submission. If you're going to bet it, I would just take him inside the distance. What do you think, Marcel?
Probably also has to do that he won against Guida in submission grappling as well, a couple of years ago. So
yeah,
maybe that's a reason why so much money comes in on him as well. I think Chase looks better at this last couple of fights. He's like making improvements. Guida is just like pretty much stalemate. He's just where he is right now, and I don't think he's getting any better. And I mean, he's older now, so it's still pretty good that he's in the UFC, in my opinion. That said, Chase Hooper for me as well by submission. I think second round makes sense. So taking the big favorite here.
Yeah, and as lazy bit, they did compete against each other in grappling, and Chase submitted them. So I think that's the way to go here. Guida's washed. I'm not disagreeing, but again, he has like 40 fights in the UFC. He's got so much experience. He has wrestling. If he somehow survives the first round, maybe, but even then, it's like Chase doesn't have a cardio issue. I think Chase wins. I just don't like minus 1,000 true. I mean, I think it's just a little high. I think it's a little disrespectful, but he should win. Pato, what's up? Looks like Kniev will fight on February 22nd against a bigger name than Bude. He probably gets a ranked opponent. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We got Michael Chiesa taking on Max Griffin. This is a fun fight, too. It's buried on the card. No one's talking about this fight, but I do like this fight. Over at Bet 105 AU, we got minus 132 Max Griffin, plus 115 Michael Chiesa. I like Max Griffin in this fight. It was like a pick'em for a while. Now just a little bit of money coming in on Max. I think that's right. I think Max wins. You talk about underrated fighters. I mean, they're both good fighters. Don't get me wrong, but I think Max Griffin's like super underrated. He's basically impossible to finish. The only guy who's knocked him out in the UFC was Colby with ground and pound in his debut. That's it. He's
short notice.
Yeah, he basically goes the distance every fight. He's super tough. He has good wrestling. He's got a good chin. He has a little bit of power himself. Chiesa is obviously a dangerous grappler, great submissions, but I also feel like he could be controlled. I think that we've seen that in his career. Like 60% takedown defense is not very good. I think Griffin can stop any sort of takedown attempt from Chiesa, and if anything, it's going to be Griffin taking Chiesa down. I also feel like on the feet, I think Griffin would have the striking advantage too. They're both older guys. I don't think that's a huge factor either way. I think he wins a decision here probably, Marcel. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think he grinds him against the fence, takes him down a couple times, boxes him up a little bit in the feet, not too much. It'll be competitive. It could be like 29-28 or something, but for like basically a pick and price, I like Max Griffin here. He's actually someone like I'm targeting here. I do think at minus 130 or whatever it is, it's not bad. So I like Max Griffin, man. What do you think?
Adam, you fuck. Let me ask you something. If you look at Max Griffin and Michael Chiesa, who would you think is older?
Well, if I looked at them, Michael's got like the gray beard now, right?
Yeah, but if you didn't know who was older, who would you think was older?
I mean, I know Max is older.
I also know Max is older, but I wouldn't think that he was.
Yeah,
older.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said Chiesa has the gray and the beard.
Yeah. So, man, I mean, I think it's a difficult fight to pick, to be really honest, man. I think it's like a 50-50 one. The thing with Chiesa is like, he looked good in his last fight, but it was against Tony Ferguson, so what can I say about it, Max Griffin is hit or miss all the time, in my opinion. Sometimes he looks good. Sometimes I'm like, what the hell, And he got screwed in his career before, with decisions. For me, it's a 50-50, and I don't know. I think Chiesa is the underdog, I guess, here. What are the odds?
Plus 115.
Yeah, I'm taking the dog then here. I think this.
Okay, hit the button.
It doesn't work again. There it is. So I think it can happen. I think it's a close fight. I'm picking the dog here. For me, it would be dog or pass, so I'm picking dog.
By decision or submission?
Yeah, decision. I'm going.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. I like Griffin.
Yeah, I think it's possible. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. It's yeah. I mean, the odds are close. Pato like the beard. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Pick Max in the pool. Yeah, I think he wins. Cast the sub or bust. I don't think Max has even ever been subbed, like even before the UFC. I could be wrong. He might have been subbed once.
It's good to know the true pick, Max. And I'm sure about my pick. Thanks.
He's never been. I know. He's only been finished once in his entire career, and that was against Cody in the debut. So he's very durable.
He is.
Let's go to the next fight here. We have flyweights Cody Durden taking on Josh Van. Fun fight here, Marcel. I like this one a lot. Over at Bet 105.eu, we got Josh Van minus 160, Cody Durden plus 138. And I'm taking my boy Josh Van once again, Marcel. I love this guy. Obviously had the setback against Charles Johnson a couple of fights ago. That was disappointing. But I don't feel like Cody Durden presents the same level of danger on the feet. I know he did knock out Matt Schnell, but I think Josh Van would have knocked out Matt Schnell in the first round, personally. Or sorry, he didn't knock him out, he submitted him. I'm just saying, like, I think Josh Van would have finished him quicker. I should say that. Cody does have a little bit of power, obviously. We saw him knock out JP Bays. But again, the Josh Van fight with Charles Johnson, I feel like it was a learning experience for this kid. Like, he's only 23, Marcel. This is his fifth fight. Sorry, it's his sixth fight in the UFC. He's 4-1. It's his fourth fight this year alone. The guy fights all the time, super active, really good striking. The striking defense is not very good. I mean, that's going to be a problem his whole career. I don't know how long his career is going to last because he puts himself in danger, but offensively, very dangerous. I don't feel like the wrestling is a problem for him, like defensive takedowns and stuff. I think he can stop the takedowns here from Cody Durden. I think Cody's path would be to get him down and try to finish him on the ground or wrestle him a bit. Obviously, they do have a common opponent with Johnson. I know Cody beat him and Josh Van lost to him, but I feel like this is a different matchup. Personally, Marcel, I think it's going to be a fun fight for as long as it lasts, but I think Josh Van knocks out Cody Durden. I think it's going to be a big win for him, and I think gets the job done. I'll say like second or third round knockout. What do you think?
What are the odds? I forgot. I forgot the.
Marcel doesn't pay attention, I swear.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Minus 160, plus 138. So Van is a slight favorite.
Okay. Here is the Dark Man again.
Again? Oh my gosh.
Well, let's go. Yeah, I think it's a good fight, man. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's a fun one. Like you said, Josh Van, great fighter to watch. Still very young. But very hittable in my opinion, and he always needs at least one round to get it going. He doesn't get that chance, I think, against Durden. I think Durden will be on him at the start of the fight. The same time, can he come back in the fight? Of course he can. But can Durden finish him? I think Durden can also finish him. So I think it will be a fun fight as long as it lasts. We'll go 3 rounds possible. I think the longer it goes, the more I favor Van. But I think Durden subs him, man, in the second round. Club and sub.
All right. Well, there you go. We have a different pick on the last 2 fights, which is not a bad thing. I think it's nice to have a little bit of difference.
For sure.
By the way, we had our boy Antoine in the chat. He said, "What's up?" I missed that. Sorry, Antoine. Glad to have you here, my friend. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We have, a fight we talked about, like, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah. Chris Weidman take on Eryk Anders. The fight obviously was scratched due to Anders getting food poisoning. The odds are out now again, and it looks like it's basically a pick 'em now. So when we talked about it last, I think Anders was a slight favorite. Now, like, the odds have tightened up. Marcel, it's a pick 'em. It's minus 110 each. So
195.
Yeah, it's a catchweight fight. I should mention that. I don't know who that would give the edge to be honest with you. I'm not too worried about the food poisoning thing because it's not like it was an injury. It's food poisoning, right? Like, it happens. It's not a good thing. It's hard to fight with it, obviously. I think they made a good decision pulling him, but I'm not, like, super worried about it a couple weeks later. I think he should be fine. It's just tough, though. I'll be honest with you because, like, the more the fight the closer we got to the fight, Marcel, I was kind of, like, not so sure about it anymore because I was, like, somewhat confident in Anders. I'm still gonna pick Anders, Marcel, but I'm not confident anymore. This fight kind of is weirding me out, especially the line movement, all the money coming in on Chris. It's weirding me out. A lot of people picked Chris Weidman last time too. I could see it, I guess. I mean, I think he's washed, but I could also see him, like, outstriking Anders because Anders is not great. At the same time, I still think Chris's chin is pretty bad. And I think Anders, if he can catch the chin, he can knock him out. So I'll take Anders by knockout, but I'm not, like, super confident. What do you think?
I mean, it would have been in Concrete Jungle Wet Reeves Tomato last time. And now it's in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going with the same way. I had Anders last time. I'm picking Anders again. So I'm not going to switch here because it takes place 3 weeks later. And now one guy has his beard a little bit longer than the other guy. I don't give a shit. We broke down it last time. I still feel the same way. And at the same time, I also feel like you, Adam, that it can probably go both ways. I don't think one is more like one should be more of a favorite than the other, and it's pretty much, you see the line, which is like even. So makes sense.
Exactly. It basically is. I think they both made weight. It was after the weigh-in. It was the next day. Anders got sick after the weigh-in. So, these guys, they cut a lot. Anders cuts a lot of weight to make 185. We know that. After they cut the weight, they go and pig out, Marcel, and they can get sick. I mean, clearly he ate something bad, but it's not the first time a guy has, like, gotten sick after the weigh-ins too. So something to keep in mind. But again, I don't know how much it affects the fight. We'll see, though. We'll see. All right, let's go to the next fight here, guys. We have a really good fight that is really flying under the radar. No one is talking about this fight, Marcel, at all. And I feel like if this was on a fight night card, it could have been like the co-main event or something.
100%.
Randy Brown takes on Bryan Battle. I think this is one of the best fights in the card. This fight is buried on the prelims. No one's talking about it, and I think it could be. I think it could be fight of the night. Honestly, I think it could be. This is a great fight. Two really good fighters. Bryan Battle -220 at bet105.eu. Randy Brown +185. I'll start Marcel. I'm a big fan of both guys. I'll just say that. I feel like Bryan Battle is probably one of the better tough winners, Marcel, in recent memory. Really good prospect. He's had a nice run in the UFC. Look at his record. 6-1, 1 no contest. He was going to win that fight against Angelosa. He looked great against Kevin Juice. He looked great against Fletcher, great against Green. He's looked great his entire career, except for the fight with Renat where he got taken down and held for like 15 minutes. So I think this is a striking battle. I think on the feet, I'll talk about Randy Brown quickly. I mean, the guy's been in the UFC for 10 years now, and he's still like getting it done. He's on a 3-fight win streak. He's won 7 of the last 8 fights. No one talks about him. He's a really good fighter. He's one of these guys, Marcel, that I always talk about, like the number 16 guy in the division. Yeah. I think he might be. He's not ranked, but he could be. Go ahead.
Drew Doberish for a long time.
Yes. You know exactly what I'm saying. So he's like just a really good gatekeeper, and he has good wins. Like, look at Muslim Salkov. Look what he's doing. He knocked him out 2 fights ago. He beat Zaleski. That's a good win too. He beat some really good guys. Chaos Williams. Some nice wins, man. That being said, he has been knocked out a couple times. Bryan Battle's got some big power. Bryan Battle's also the younger fighter who is getting better every fight. And I feel like Brown, he's looking great, but I also feel like he's probably at the same level, whereas I think Battle can level up. I'm taking Bryan Battle in this fight, Marcel. I think he gets the job done. I think he'll knock out Randy Brown. I think it's going to be a great fight, though, as long as it lasts. It could go 3 rounds, too. I wouldn't be surprised. But, yeah, I think Battle probably gets the knockout. What do you think, Ben?
It's such a hard fight to pick, in my opinion, because I think if you want to go for more security with a decision, you can go with Brown, but at the same time, Battle can stop him, I think, So it's a really hard fight for me to pick. If you look at Bryan Battle, he has done great in the UFC, like you said. He only got like that no contest, which he was winning against Angelosa, and he lost to Renat, with heavy wrestling from Renat. We look at Randy Brown, man. Randy Brown is just like really good. His only loss came to Jack Della Maddalena in his last 7 fights, I think. And that was a pretty decisive loss, first round TKO. Yeah, I got to go Randy Brown, man. I'm more sure with Randy Brown. I think Bryan Battle is a great fighter. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins here. He can knock him out for sure, I think. But I'm going Randy Brown. I'm more confident. He wins 2 of the 3 rounds at least. Unanimous decision for Brown. I think it will be a great fight, man. I really like this fight a lot.
Yeah. Is this a rebooking? Was it? I don't know if it
Randy Brown was expected to face Carlos Pradas in New York,
That's what it was.
And for some reason, I don't know what the exact reason was, but Randy couldn't take that fight. So he wanted to rebook it for December, but Pradas wanted to fight in November. So
yeah, and he ended up getting that main event. Yeah. What was there was a question from someone. Oh, here. Pato asked Brown's been in unranked purgatory for years. If he wins this, he should get someone ranked. Probably. I would. Yeah, I mean, for sure, right? Because he'll have won like 8 of 9 fights. Like, you can't.
Same for Battle. If he wins, he also deserves somebody ranked, I think. Both guys deserve.
Oh, yeah, I think so. Like, I'll quickly take a look at the rankings. These shitty rankings. Let me quickly take a look at this. 15 is Michael Page, who's, I think he's actually, I mean, really, if Michael Page is going to fight at middleweight against Star Bullet, he shouldn't even be in the rankings.
Yeah.
But, 14 is Luque. We'll talk about him after because he's fighting Themba Gorimbo.
Maybe the winners against each other.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, there's some guys in this card or on the rankings that might drop out because they're getting older. But I don't know. I'm a big fan of, if a guy doesn't fight very often, you kind of got to pull him. So if Page is going to fight, and if they move divisions too, they should be pulled personally. So
lazy bet. I'm Jamaican you crazy, dude.
That's funny. There was another comment. That's okay. All right, let's go to the next fight here. All right, this is the fight that everyone's talking about here. Movsar Evloev taking on Aljamain Sterling, and everyone's just like, why is on the prelims? And I'm with you guys. I mean, this should be in the main card. Like, it clearly should. It should be Bryce Mitchell and Kron Gracie in the spot. To be honest, actually, Marcel, maybe Bryce Mitchell and Kron Gracie should be like on the early prelims, if anything.
For some reason, I think Kron Gracie has in his contract that he has to be on the main card or something, I don't know.
Must be because all his fights have been main card.
Yeah.
So, potentially. And he's been on pay-per-view the last few fights too. It's kind of weird. Anyways, let's go to this fight. Bet 105. We have Movsar Evloev minus 253, Sterling plus 210. You know what? I think this fight's going to be competitive, Marcel. I think Sterling matches up decently well. Like, obviously, he's a good grappler too. On the feet, his striking isn't bad. It's improved over the years. It's just tough to go against Evloev. 18-0, really showing like not a ton of flaws in his game. And he has some good wins. Like Arnold Allen's a good win, and I know it was short notice. I get that, but he still beat Diego Lopez. Like that's a huge win, and no one really gives credit to because of the short notice because everyone loves Diego. The Dan Ige win's also a solid win. The guys before that, maybe not so much, but the last couple fights, great wins. I think the striking is getting better. It's not great, but it's getting better. The grappling is obviously high level. Sterling, very well rounded, tons of championship experience. Like, I don't want to completely write off Sterling here. I think he could win this fight. I do. I think it's possible that he could prove to like stuff the takedowns and then be the better striker. I do think that's possible. At the same time, though, I just find it hard to pick against Evloev with that record. He's never lost. It's so hard to pick against a guy like that. So I'm taking Evloev, Marcel, by decision, but I think this fight's close. I think it's closer than the odds are, personally. And I think Sterling's a live dog. That's me. So what do you think, man?
I'm really confident that Evloev is going to win, to be really honest, man. I think his striking is better than Sterling. I know a lot of people think it not. I think it is. And I think his grappling is more, it's maybe, listen, man, Sterling's grappling is great. Don't get me wrong. His BJJ is really good, but Evloev is solid overall, He's good at grappling. I think his wrestling is good, but his submission game is also pretty on point, in my opinion, You saw in what position Lopez had him, and a lot of people would have tapped. He came out of it, Dude is super, super strong, in my opinion. I'm picking Evloev, and I'm pretty confident. Does he stop him? It's possible, but I'm going with decision, man. I mean, Sterling is pretty tough. We all know that. Besides the what's that? The knockout against Marlon Moraes.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I didn't see Sterling really getting beat up. Against Jan the first fight, but I mean that went to a DQ. But overall, Sterling. And a lot of people will say, but O'Malley, O'Malley caught him. That's true, but he won the first round still, in my opinion. Evloev wins, I think. I'm going with the decision. It's a pretty safe pick, I think, but that's what I think.
Yeah, no, I'm taking him too. Craig, what's up, man? Glad to have you here, buddy. We appreciate you. Movsar and Chiesa. We're gonna talk. You know what we're gonna do, Pato? We're gonna talk about PFL on the next podcast. So we'll talk about Chiesa because he looked good. We'll talk about
Adam can't wait to talk about the Mina fights. So
the ones I didn't watch because I was sleeping.
I
I still wonder if Dana had Movsar mixed up with someone else. It's possible because I was remember when we were talking about that, I thought maybe he was talking about the Curtis and Barrio fight, maybe.
Yeah, it was so weird, right?
It was weird, but like at the same time, there's no reason for me to think that the same. Like I thought so because I thought the fight was good, but Dana hasn't given me a reason otherwise. Especially the fact this is on the prelims. Like maybe he didn't like the fight that much. It's possible, right? Like others, why is this on the prelims? This is very odd. It's not even the feature bout in the prelims. It's like third down from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's freaking odd, man. New improved grounded opponent will have an effect on this fight. I don't think so. Maybe though, because you know what? There was that Arnold Allen fight. They had the knee, and then the Sterling and Jan fight. You know what? That's a good point you brought up. I like that, but I don't know how that ever affects a fight. I mean, really don't know. It's hard to say. Looking back, how messing with Sterling didn't get a rematch. UFC's not. They're not super like hyped on Sterling, but his boy Merab's the champion also. They didn't want to fight each other at the same time. He could have fought Merab, I think, at some point. They didn't want to fight each other, so happens. Yeah, I'll talk about Brent Primus who lost. We'll talk about him though. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We have this one. Okay, so second last prelim here. Vicente Luque taking on Themba Gorimbo. Bet 105 Marcel, minus 155 Themba, plus 134 Luque. I really like Themba Gorimbo in this fight. I know it's short notice, but I think he wins. I think that Luque's honestly at the end of his career. He's not super old, right? He's 33. Or he's 32, actually. I think he's turning 33. Or no, sorry. He just turned 33 last week. My bad. But he's just taken so much damage. Like the last couple of fights, not a good look. The fight with Buckley, did not want to be in there. He had obviously that brain bleed after the Jeff Neal fight where he's knocked out. He did beat RDA. That surprised me, but he used his wrestling in that fight. He won't be able to use that here. I don't think that's Themba. I understand people aren't super high on Themba because he hasn't been finishing his fights. He has the one win by stoppage. but the grappling is pretty dominant, man. He's averaging more like 5 takedowns a fight in the UFC, so it's impressive. And I think he can get the job done here, Marcel. I think he can just win a decision. I don't think he finishes Buckley. Maybe if he really tried, maybe ground and pound, but it doesn't seem like he really goes for finishes in this fight. He's content with like grinding them out. I will say, like, you know, the level of opposition, it's not amazing, right? It's a step up from Nico Price to Luque. Although I will say the Ramiz Brahima win probably looks a little better now, right? He pretty much blanketed him, and then Ramiz had that great knockout in his last fight against Nicky Gall. But yeah, I still think he wins this fight. Like, I get it, guys. You know, it's going from unranked guys to the number 14 guy in Luque, but I'm convinced Luque is not the same guy anymore. I love Luque, man. He has had a really fun career. He was such a good fighter in his prime. He was knocking guys out, submitting them. So much fun to watch. I don't think that guy exists anymore. I'm taking Themba here to win, man. I do like the odds. I think minus 155. I like it. I think he out wrestles him. What do you think?
Yeah, man. First of all, hi Themba. I know you're gonna watch it.
You better love my breakdown, dude. I just told him he's gonna win and win easily against the number 14 guy. So let's see what happens.
I actually want to troll him a little bit and say pick Luque, but I'm going to pick Themba. No, I'm picking Themba here as well, man. I think he's doing pretty well, man. You know, I think it's control on the ground look good. You know, it's not really spectacular, to be really honest, but it's good enough to get the wins. You know, and I think Luque has looked great as of lately. You know, he really kind of shocked me in his performances against Joaquin Buckley, to be really honest. But yeah, I think Themba is pretty much improving, and I think Luque isn't improving. You know, he's pretty stationary and goes a little bit less every fight we see him. I think Themba wins. Will he get a finish? I'm not sure. I'll go with decision. So yeah, I'm going with Themba Gorimbo by decision. I think he wins, and he gets a ranking after this fight. So yeah, good try, man.
True, I'm not reading your comment because Themba's probably going to watch the podcast. I'm not reading it, dude. Unless you want Themba to go find you in Illinois and kick your ass, I'm not going to read it. So we had negative comment, Themba, but I'm not going to post it. All right. A lot of people picked him. Is anyone picking Luque? Just can someone throw that in if they are picking him? By the way, someone had asked me how many retirements were going to be on this card, and that was a question I missed. Sorry, guys. I saw it and I just didn't read it. They were like, what, over 1.5 retirements, over under. I think I could see over. I could see over, man. I could.
Yeah, but I'm going under.
Yeah, it's tough, but I could see, like, you know, Guida, Weidman. These are older guys in their 40s, right? I could see those guys potentially hanging up. They get destroyed. Kron, Gracie, I could see not fighting again. Anthony Smith potentially, but at the same time, I mean, these guys don't want to stop fighting because they like getting paid too, so it's tough. Actually, you know what? I'll switch. I'll say under, but I think you'll probably see one guy retire. I'll say that. I'll say we'll give one.
Very possible.
I'll give it one. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We got the last prelim.
Yeah, Pato, he does.
Yeah, we got the last prelim. Dominick Reyes taking on Anthony Smith. Lionheart. Odds for this one. We got that 105. Dominick Reyes, big favorite, minus 338, plus 270 Smith. I will say this, like, if Dom Reyes didn't knock out Dustin Jacoby in his last fight, would the odds, they would be a lot closer, I think, right? I still think he might be favored because Smith, he looks like he's on a decline. But I feel like at the same time, he wouldn't be minus 338. I don't see value in Dominick Reyes here at this price. I'm going to pick him to win. I'll take him by knockout because I think, again, you talk about guys on the decline. I mean, Anthony Smith, bro, that fight with Elise, that was just such a bad look. He just looked so bad in that fight. I couldn't believe it because I picked him to win. So did you as a dog because he looked good against Fedor Petrino, right? And then he goes out there and you know, just gets out wrestled. He was lying floppy to his back again. It's just weird. He'll occasionally pull off the win. You know, we've seen that as a big dog in his career. He's a guy that you don't want to underestimate, and that's why I don't love this line. But I got to take Reyes by knockout. What do you think, man?
I mean, can you listen? I have nothing against Anthony Smith, but can you pick him really after that last performance against Dolice? And before that, man,
we did pick him in that fight. We did pick him, right?
No, we did, yeah, and we did. And against Petrino, I picked Petrino, I think, and then he submitted Petrino. So, I'm pretty much sucky.
Wait, actually, no. Now that I think about it, we took Roman Dolice. What am I talking about? As a dog, actually. No. Okay, that was my bad. I think, right?
Maybe you did. I picked Smith. You maybe.
Okay, maybe I did. I can't remember anymore. To be honest with you, my brain's wrapped. Sorry, guys. My bad.
Yeah, but I'm with the Reyes here, man. And the thing is, like you said, if Reyes didn't knock out Jacoby in the last fight, that we would have been more like in doubt. I think, we would have been like, oh, maybe it's gonna. But Reyes still got that knockout power. I think he can put Smith away. Smith didn't look good. Smith looks like. Listen, man, I have
we
all
both
respect.
took Smith. We both took Smith. Yeah.
Listen, I have a lot of respect for Anthony Smith, but he really looks kind of like an old fighter right now. You know what I mean? And that's no disrespect to him, former title challenger. But yeah, I'm going with Reyes here. I think he knocks him probably out.
Yeah,
or TKO.
And I think that they were both short notice. It was a weird matchup. Like they had different opponents and they ended up fighting each other. Again, I don't like these odds on Reyes because again, I think if he didn't win that last fight, he would have lost 4 straight, and then people would have been like, this would have been a pickup probably. So you're paying a big premium price on him. There's other fights to bet on. There's 14 fights. I wouldn't lay it. All right, let's go to the next fight here. First fight in the main card. This could be fight of the night too. I mean, very good chance. Nate Landwehr taking on Dooho Choi. Odds for this one bet 105. We got Nate the Train minus 136. Dooho Choi plus 118. Fun fight, Marcel. What's Dooho Choi's nickname again? I forgot. Oh, the Korean Superboy. Amazing nickname. There it is. So first off, I'll say this. I was at that fight with Cub Swanson. That was one of the best fights I ever saw, and I was live for that. So that was amazing. And
did it give you a hard dick?
Yeah, it did actually. So there you go. Dude, I saw that fight in person, and I saw Jones and Gustafson. I mean, that one also, yeah. I've seen some pretty fucking good fights over the years. And Toronto's had some amazing fights, man. We had some good ones. So
I love catching you off guard.
No, I said I agree with you. I agree. I'm not gonna lie. You know how much I love this shit. But
yeah,
amazing.
Your Greek garlic sauce.
Anyways, this fight is gonna be a banger for as long as it lasts, which I don't think it goes to 3 rounds based on how these guys fight. Start with Nate. I mean, he's looked obviously amazing. He's won 4 of his last 5 fights, finishing guys, showing off a really good ground game too. Ever since he went to MMA Masters, he's just turned into a different fighter. I still remember that fight with Ludovic Klein. Marcel literally said, "There's no reason to pick Nate Landwehr here," and then he went out there and had like the best performance of his career. Right?
Yeah, what the fuck, man? Yeah,
dude, I couldn't believe it. He's looked great, but listen, I like Nate a lot, but it's still at the same time super hittable, so he can still get knocked out. And then Dooho Choi, he had that. A magical run at the beginning of his career. Everyone's saying this guy could be a future, contender, just like Korean Zombie. Then gets knocked out in a couple of fights, and then does the military service. Comes back, has that pretty bad performance. I think against Kyle Nelson with the decision after the headbutts and stuff. Right? I think it was a point deducted. Got all wrestled there, and then I kind of was like, this guy's kind of done. And then he goes out there and beats Bill Algeo, a guy who I think is pretty tough, and knocks him out. And I think that was a nice win. And I'm not ready to completely write him off. He's also a little bit younger in this fight, which is interesting because given like the huge layoff he had, both guys can win. Obviously, they both have a chance to finish each other. You know what, though, Marcel, hit the button for me. I'm gonna take a dog here. I will take a dog in this fight. I'll take Dooho Choi, just because they're both hittable, but Nate's even more hittable in my opinion. And I think Dooho Choi can knock him out and get back on track and get the fans talking about it again. This will be a great fight, but I think Dooho Choi is going to knock him out. So that's my pick. I'll take the dog.
I'd love to see it, to be honest. I have nothing against Landwehr, by the way, but I love Choi, but I'm not going with Choi here, man. Landwehr is he's like a crazy fucker, He comes and he goes for broke. Same time, it also keeps him open for shots, I still think that Elkins fight where Elkins looked bad in his face, I still think Elkins won that fight, actually, But Nate looked impressive, dude, against Jamal Emmers last time, in my opinion, I was kind of surprised by how good he looked against him and that he put him away. The way he put him away, I was surprised by that, to be honest.
Yep.
I think he can finish Choi. I'm going with Landwehr. I think he finishes Choi. Although I really like Choi, but I'm going with Landwehr. Why are you laughing, dude?
I'm just this comment making you laugh. He said, "Dooho Choi versus Swanson and making homemade tzatziki sauce." Pretty much. Yeah. And by the way, Antoine, he said, "Could you feel the Hall of Fame energy?" I mean, you just knew it was an amazing fight. And same with Jones and Gus. You just kind of had that feeling. There was a few other fights too that I felt that way. I mean. You could definitely feel it, but you could feel it, Marcel. That's for sure.
You could feel the homemade tzatziki sauce.
It was flying over the arena. It was just,
oh god,
it was everywhere, dude. It was so good. Michael, what's up? We're gonna talk about this fight right now. Oh, by the way, Antoine, he says
the the ring girls thought what we're thinking like, where's all the bird the bird shit coming from? But was something else.
You fucking guy. Is Choi young enough to climb the rankings? He's 33. I don't think so, personally, but I think he's got a couple of good fights left in him. I'll say that. I mean, he looked good against Algio, so yeah. All right, let's go to the next fight here, Marcel. This is let's see here. Okay, this is the fight everyone's talking about. This fight should not be in the main card. And we've said like 10 times already, I think.
Check the last comment.
Oh, what is it? Yeah, pretty much. All right, let's go to this fight, though. We got Bryce Mitchell against Kron Gracie. Bet 105 has Bryce Mitchell. I think he's the biggest favorite in the card, minus 633, plus 450 in Kron. Of course, I'm taking Bryce Mitchell. I will say this, though. Like, Kron is not easy to finish. Like, Jourdain could not finish him. Cub Swanson could not finish him. He's pretty durable. So, and Bryce is a decision machine. Yeah, I think that what's going to happen here is I think first round will be like pretty competitive, and then Kron's just going to fall off after that. I think he's going to gas. He's going to start flopping to his back. Bryce is going to be on top of him, grinding him out. Kron's going to be absolutely exhausted, and people are going to wonder why this wasn't the main card. I think that's what's going to happen. So I think Bryce Mitchell wins. I mean, I don't think going on a limb there, he's a huge favorite. He is. It should be mentioned he is coming off that massive knockout loss last year against Emmett. So if he was facing a power puncher, I might pick against him. But in this matchup against another grappler, a matchup just doesn't make any sense in the first place, let alone the main card. It's just a weird fight in the first place. Why is Kron getting a ranked guy? Why does he keep fighting ranked guys? I don't get it. It's so weird. Anyways, Bryce Mitchell, but I think he wins a decision. So that's the way I'd go. If anything, take a look at Bryce by decision, because I think that could have some value, maybe go over 2.5. I think this fight goes long. But yeah, I'll take Bryce by decision. I'm pretty confident he wins. What do you think, man?
Kron's going to be dangerous early on. He's going to try to take him to the ground. But Bryce has some good jiu-jitsu as well, you know. And then after the first round, Kron is going to try to lay on his back like Ryan Hall always does as well. You know, trying to lure him into game to the ground, but nothing is coming from it. Bryce will keep it standing, probably. Doesn't take too many risks and wins the decision. So I'm fully with you.
Yeah. By the way, was Kron ever ranked after he beat Caceres?
No.
Was he top 15?
Because Caceres wasn't ranked back then.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that was in 2019, I guess. Antoine, where's your comment? I don't like to judge Kron for showing up for a paycheck everyone has to eat. We're not. I don't think we have a problem with him fighting. Like, I don't, because this is his fourth fight in his contract. He's going to fulfill it. That's fine. It's just it shouldn't be the main card.
Yeah,
right? That's the problem.
And not against a ranked opponent.
Yeah, that's the other problem. So there's two problems, but that's not his problem. If the UFC's called any unranked guy and they're like, you're going to fight a ranked guy on the main card of pay-per-view, they're all going to say yes to it.
I mean, look how difficult it is for some guys who are actually on a winning streak to get a ranked guy, and then he comes out of nowhere with a 2 losing streak, you know? Yeah,
and True's mentioned what you said. It could be in his contract. He has to be main card, potentially. Yeah. Ryan Hall didn't interview with Cole Sheldon. I don't think he's retired. He wants to fight
he's
again.
Not retired.
Yeah. Check it out. It's at BJ Penn. How much do you think the old glove's coming back? That's a good question, too. I like that question. Maybe you'll see some more knockouts. I mean, that New York card was crazy, right? You had all those crazy knockouts. But then again, the China card had sick knockouts too, and that wasn't with the gloves.
Yeah, and I have my own thoughts about it, but you guys know already.
What? You don't care? You don't think?
I think it's about the matchups, not about the gloves.
Fair enough. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought you'd say. Yeah, I mean, that's a part of it too. But you know, Dana, he saw those stats that Nate, not Nate Landwehr. I was gonna say Nate Landwehr. Nate Ladshaw. Pretty much the same name. He just called him Nate Landwehr. Oh wait, Michael fight of the year? Probably not. Actually, you know what? You could have fight of the year between Landwehr and Dooho Choi, and then like the worst fight of the year in the next fight here, very potentially. Pantoja says the fighters like the old gloves. That's what I've seen. There has been some of the fighters saying they like the new gloves. Amen Zahabi follows me on Twitter. When I tweeted about it, he responded and like, I like the new ones. Like they felt better in my hand, and they didn't break my hand. Like my hand didn't feel as bad. He said like I felt like it was less risk of breaking my hand. So
they should let them choose, man. To be really honest, you know.
Yeah. All right, next fight here we got a rematch, Marcel, between heavyweights Ciryl Gane and Alexander Volkov, and the odds for this one have gone over at Bet 105 minus 331 favorite. Volkov plus 265. Listen, I love Volkov. He's looked great lately. I picked him against Pavlovich. I've been picking him lately. I mean, he's really good. Don't get me wrong. And he's improved since the first Gane fight. 5-1. They only lost to Tom, which you can just ignore as a loss because everyone loses to Tom Aspinall. at the same time, though, we already saw them fight, and like I know the stats say the fight was like kind of close. That's what the stats suggest, but like watching that fight, it didn't seem that way. I'll say that. Like it seemed like a complete runaway. Yeah. And for me, like I know Gon hasn't been like super active since that fight, but at the same time, like when he's fought only like elite guys, and like I'm not writing Gon off. Like he lost to Jones and Francis. Like he's still one of the best guys. When he's fought, he's looked good. I just don't know what's changed really. Like what has changed since that fight? Like if anything, if Volkov wants to win that, I don't think it's going to be on the striking because I think Gon outstrikes him. If anything, it would be Volkov submitting him. You'd have to get him to the ground and submit him. There's an outside chance of that. I don't really see it happening. I just think this fight's kind of like a replay of the first fight, man. I think that Gon just outstrikes him. I think he wins a decision. That's what I think happens here. I don't think this fight. I could be wrong, but I don't think this fight's going to be the most exciting fight personally. Hope I'm wrong because I hope it's two heavyweights, especially Gon. He's an exciting guy in general, but I think it's going to be Gon just outstriking Volkov and staying at distance and playing safe just because Volkov is dangerous. You don't want to take a chance and get knocked out. So I'll take Gon decision. I like him in this fight. What do you think?
For some reason, I thought you was going to pick Volkov here, man. But
I love Volkov, but not in this fight.
I'm also for Gon here, man. I think people writing him off because of the John Jones fight, and because of Ngannou. Listen, guys, the fight against Ngannou, he won the first 2 rounds, then he lost 3 and 4, and then he would have won if he didn't give away the stupid position in the 5th round. The Jones fight, completely bad performance. I know everybody thinks he sucks at grappling. I don't think he sucks at grappling. It's just not his best thing. His striking is better. And Volkov was pretty complete, I think, but his striking is also his best part. Volkov's going to also strike with him again. I think Gon wins the decision. I'm with you, Adam, man. I thought that you was going to get the gamble with Volkov, but I'm glad we're on the same page on this one, man. Gives me more confidence in Gon, actually. Yeah,
I thought about it, but I just think like there's no reason really for me to think that the fight will go differently. Especially it's not like Volk. I know he's improved, but like he's not young. He's 36. He's gotten better in the grappling. I don't think his striking is like it's the same. I think he's always been good striker. I don't know, man. We saw the first fight again. I know the stats are like 135 to 115. I get that, but when I watched the fight, I remember it being a clean sweep. So,
by the way, what Colostrum says, why Gon never fought Tom? Because they needed them for separate cars at fight nights.
Yeah, they should fight each other eventually.
Yeah, next year, I think.
Really, that should be the next fight. If anything, if Jones, stops holding the belt hostage.
Yeah,
that's kind of what he's doing at this point. I agree that Volkov's grappling is improved. I mean, that Ezekiel choke. By the way, how did he not get a bonus against Ty for that Ezekiel choke? Second one in UFC history, right? Behind
who got the bonus on that card?
I'd have to check, but it might have been the third because I know that Olenek and then maybe like Royce Gracie had one or someone early in the UFC, but I know Olenek had one on that card. Performance bonuses were Sean Strickland, obviously, and then Justin Taffa knocking out Austin Lane. Come on.
Okay, yeah.
That dude, fuck that. Come on, right, Marcel? That's a joke, right?
But at the same time, I'm happy for Justin because he had a really bad injury. But give 3 bonuses, man.
that is ridiculous. Now that's so bad. That's just horrible. And I get Ty's grappling isn't good, but it's still.
I mean, Robelis couldn't do it, so.
Oh yeah, I mean, I just think Gon's really good. He destroyed.
I agree.
We barely talked about that in this breakdown, but yeah, he destroyed him. Gon will win to the Duke Hospital. Gon, it makes sense. It's a fight that makes sense. They could do that in Europe. Makes sense. You guys think Gon throws up in front of John? John's just great, and really, the fight never played out. It was a quick submission. It never played out, Marcel. What happens if that fight goes deep? What happens?
Yeah. By the way, West Coast, what's the right amount of money?
Jones said he would fight Tom for the. Who's hating on Jones? I'm not hating on him, dude. Listen, he is holding the belt hostage at this point, though. Like he is. He's just like he fights once a year, and he just fought the guy who's ranked 8th, who's retired now. That fight shouldn't really happened. So, anyways, I mean, listen, Jones is the best fighter of all time. I have no problem saying that. He is. Justin Taffa better than Robelis to Spain. Yeah, it was funny. I saw a tweet from because I was looking at something the other day. It was just like Robelis' manager when he signed with the UFC. They're like future champion. Right, I
saw that. Yeah.
Oh God.
Champion 2025.
Yeah. Bias towards Aussie fighters. No, potentially. He is Aussie. Is Gon good enough to become the actual undisputed champion? Yeah, I think he is. I think the fight with Tom Aspinall is interesting. I think Tom probably takes him down. I think that's probably what happens there, but it's a good fight. Like, again, what happens if he doesn't get him down? Gon's striking is some of the best in the division. It's really good. Look at Francis had to take him down, Marcel. Like on the feet, Gon was the better striker, right? Francis was forced to wrestle him. Anyways.
But Blake, y'all got beat all the time, man. I mean, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right, let's go to the next fight here, guys. We have co-main event, and the odds for this one have Shavkat Rakhmonov at bet 105 is a massive favorite here, Marcel, and he is Shavkat minus 400, plus 300 on Ian Machado Gary. 5-round fight, welterweight bout. Obviously, Shavkat was supposed to fight Bilal. He was the favorite there. I think he was like minus 200 or something. So double the price here against Machado Gary. Gary taking the fight. I don't even know if I'd say short notes because he had a camp going, but he had to fight a week sooner. So yeah. All right. So as far as this fight goes, you got 18-0 against 15-0. And the more I thought about it, this fight really is the fight to make. It is, because I'm not the biggest Gary fan, but it's hard to argue against 8-0 in the UFC. Like, that's impressive any way you slice it, right? It's just he hasn't been finishing people. That's the problem lately. Anyways, he has a couple of finishes, but 8-0 is amazing, and he deserves it because there was no one else available, quite frankly, too. But at the same time, like, Shavkat, Marcel, and I said this pretty much like since he came in the UFC, I'm like, this guy's going to be a champion one day. And although I was somewhat hesitant, I probably would have picked him against Bilal. We'll see. I mean, we'll see if that fight gets rebooked. It probably does next year, but if he wins, obviously here. But at the same time, it's just like this guy finishes everyone. His ground game is elite. He's got good striking too. Super dangerous everywhere. There's really no reason for me not to pick him. I get some people are taking Gary. They think he can win a decision here. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. I kind of feel like Shavkat could beat him on the ground, especially. I think that's kind of where he would beat him. Like on the feet, it could be competitive just because Gary's good at like defensively and sticking and moving. But I think if Shavkat gets him down eventually in his 5 rounds, I think he'll have the chance to later in the fight. I think he submits him. So, you know what? I know that people were not super impressed with that performance with Jeff Neal a couple of years ago, or was it last year? Yeah, where he submitted him late. But I think that's a good sign here because this fight with Gary probably goes late. And the fact that he was able to tap him out when he needed to in that 3rd round, that's impressive to me. So, yeah, I think this fight will be Shavkat getting another finish. I think he submits Ian Gary and gets the title shot again. What do you think, man?
Yeah, by the way, to reply to Blake, if this is the highest level non-title fight of this year, it's clearly Jamie Lynn Horth against Ivana Petrovic, let's be honest. Yeah, man, I kind of feel the same. I think that Gary has a high fight IQ. I think he showed that in his fights. For example, against MVP, he knows how to win a fight. MVP is good in the striking. Take him down. Win the fight, do just enough to get the decision. If it goes to decision, I think that Gary probably wins the decision, but I don't think it goes to a decision. I think Shavkat will pressure him. There will be thrown strikes. Both guys will tag each other. I think Shavkat tags him. He will go down. I think Shavkat submits him. And it will be in the 3rd round. So I'm picking that in the 3rd round win for Shavkat by submission. So club and sub pretty much. But if it goes full 5 rounds, man, I can see Gary winning that, But
he has a chance to win decision here, but I think Shavkat's the pick for me anyways. Reading comments, people are kind of split. True, it sounds like you like Gary, huh? So let us know if you're going to take a shot in the plus 300 dog. You seem to like him here. He's got a chance. I think the odds are a little wide. I'll say that. Minus 400, plus 300. But
they're wide, man.
Yeah, they're what?
They're wide, man.
Wide, yeah. They're a little wide. Like I've said that about a few fights in this card. I just feel like I think at this point in MMA, it's kind of turning into like some of these other sports, like football and stuff, like where these like the games play closer, but like people are so convinced that the favorite will win that the line just goes crazy. And I've seen that in a few of these fights. Even like, was it the Reyes fight earlier, and then the Guida fight? That's why I kind of like some of those smaller favorites, like Themba and Themba. I'm picking you. Hi. Was it Max Griffin? I know you don't like him, but like I kind of like those smaller favorites more than these massive favorites. So, anyways, I'm picking Shavkat by stoppage. All right, I agree. I think it should have been for an interim belt too. Do you think so?
No.
Well,
This is the only thing that I would like for the interim belt. That it
Yeah.
is that they get extra money for it. That's the only thing, you know. But
maybe they get more because it's 5 rounds too, possibly. Maybe.
Bilal hasn't been out for a year, you know.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
like-
You're right. You're right. He's been out for 6 months, but you're right. I mean, I guess it's a little too soon to start one. I guess it's just because the UFC opened such a huge can of worms in the heavyweight division. Really, having two simultaneous titles, it's like where do they draw the line? Now they're drawing it at welterweight. So again, that's John Jones' privilege. All right, let's go to the main event here, guys. We have a 5-round UFC flyweight title bout between champion Alexandre Pantoja and UFC newcomer Kai Asakura. Odds over here at Bet 105, -260 on the champ Pantoja, +215 on Kai Asakura. All right, so my thoughts on this fight are Kai's got a puncher's chance, probably in like the first, maybe second round. But the thing about this fight is, first off, I don't really think he should have got the title shot. The more I thought about it, I felt that way when they announced it, and even after like this, because I did my articles this weekend. I'm going to send them in on my bookies.com best bets. The more I looked into him too, it's like I just think that it's not fair that a guy comes into the UFC and gets a title shot when there's other contenders, because Pantoja has not fought Kai Kara-France in the UFC yet, right? So I feel like after he knocked out Urseg, who Pantoja couldn't knock out, I kind of feel like it should have been him because it's a fresh fight. Now I know he beat him on Ultimate Fighter, so he has fought him before technically, but I'm just saying in the UFC itself, it was a fresh fight. But yeah, and it's funny, Marcel, they both lost to the same guy, Hiro Masa.
Ogikubo.
Yeah, they both lost to him, which is interesting.
Kai also had a win against him.
Sorry?
He got a win and a loss against him, Kai.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but Pantoja also lost him on the show. Yeah. That's what I was saying. True. It's just interesting. And that guy, no one talks about him, because he's an older guy. But anyways, yeah, for sure, he's solid flyweight. I remember that season of flyweights. All right. Anyways, get back to the fight. The reason I like Pantoja here is because it's the same reason I like picking John Jones in his fights. Is this? He has some of the best fight IQ in MMA, I think. I think Pantoja is severely underrated. No one talks about him as one of the best pound-for-pound guys. He has beaten pretty much everyone, Marcel. I know obviously he's lost a couple times. He lost to Figgy. He lost to Askarov. Even Dustin Ortiz back in the day. But when you look at his resume, 2 wins over – actually, Moreno he beat twice in the UFC, but also top, so 3. 2 wins over Royval. Kopp, who, by the way, it's interesting. Kai Asakura has a win over him too. They have some common opponents, which is interesting. But like the level of competition is just so high, and he's just winning all these fights. And I just feel like no one talks about him at all as a pound-for-pound great. And I think he's up there. Because I just think, with Pantoja, he gets those takedowns when he needs them. He will grind for those takedowns. The Ursig fight, tooth and nail fighting for those takedowns. The Royval fight, tooth and nail. Again, getting outstruck, but getting that key takedown. The judges love top position. That's what I think happens here, honestly. I think he wrestles him. That's what I think happens. I think it's going to be exciting for like the first couple rounds maybe, but I think as the fight goes on, he's just going to be on top of Kai, grinding him out, eating clock, just eating the clock, and getting the 25 minutes and retaining the title again. Kai's going to be super dangerous first round, second round, but I think eventually, Marcel, he'll get tired, and I think Pantoja will grind him out. And also, like again, people have brought this up, like this guy hasn't cut weight in a while to make 125. It's been several years. Mm-hmm. I'm going to keep an eye on those weigh-ins. Like, how sucked in is he going to be, too? Even if he makes it, like, he's going to take a beating making the weight, I think, which, again, helps him, Pantoja, as the fight goes on. So, I like Pantoja in this fight, Marcel. I think the odds are fair. I know that it's a little elevated here, but at -260, but I think it's fair. I think he wins. I think he wins a decision, and I think he retains the belt. Then I'll see who they match up with next. I mean, is it going to be Royval again for a third time? I guess. But I still think that Kara-France fight is a kind of a fresh fight. That's a fight that makes sense. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I like Pantoja. That's what I'm saying, Marcel. What do you think, man?
I'm with you, man. I also think Pantoja wins. It's
yep.
Listen, Asakura is a fun fighter to watch. I've seen his fights in Ryzen. The funny thing is, like, almost all his losses, he also won against those guys, So
yeah, I know.
So Horiguchi, Cap, Ogikubo. I mean, his last fight was a win against Archuleta for the bantamweight belt in Ryzen. Now he comes back to flyweight. I think first time since 2017 or something. Just so, like you said, I'm really curious how he looks on the scale on Friday. We'll see. I think he can do work early in the fight, but like you said, man, Pantoja has a high fight IQ. He knows when to get a takedown, that he has to hold certain time, and he always gets a second and even a third wind, in a fight.
Yeah.
So
I know
unless
he does.
Unless Asakura knocks him out or whatever, I think Pantoja wins. So I'm going Pantoja decision here. Same as you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Let me get some comments. Choose betting on Pantoja. Is Pantoja one of the greatest flyweights of all time? Yeah, for sure, right? Top 3, maybe top. Sorry, maybe not top 3, top 5. I would say maybe top 3. I mean, I would think Demetrius Johnson is the best one, and then
I agree.
Cejudo's up there too. But I think what Pantoja's done, and Moreno too. I mean, Moreno's up there too. But
the problem is I would put Benavidez there, but Benavidez never won a title, so it's hard to put him.
Kobe is great, but I also feel like, honestly, I think Pantoja would have beaten him too, personally.
Yeah.
There's a question here: is it bad look for the UFC if Kai comes in and sleeps Pantoja?
Yes.
He's got a chance to. I mean, they book fights because they think
it's a bad look.
Why though? Because he's new. Like, so
it's a bad look when all your
I see what you're
contenders lose to Pantoja and then somebody outside the UFC.
I get what you're saying as far as the rest of the guys go. Yeah, but I just think like because he hasn't fought in the UFC yet, like they could be like, well, he wasn't here. He would have knocked those guys out. I don't know. Maybe that's all Dana will say. But what Dana said was he's a bad boy. That's what because they're like, why is he getting a title shot? He's a bad boy. That's what he said, Marcel. So whatever that means. You think he deserves it or no? Title shot, yes or no?
Probably not. I mean,
I don't think so.
You can get any random out of a league who is a champion somewhere.
Well, I wouldn't call him a random. I mean, he's pretty good.
No, but I mean, if you say it's deserved, you can get any random champion.
The other thing is, Marcel, I would have said this too. Like, I think a few years ago, he would have been more interesting because he had beaten Kopp and Koraguchi. Now it's like, I know he beat Archuleta, but like, I don't rank that win that high personally.
I actually wanted them to get Horiguchi back.
Horiguchi's great. He's underrated too. What's up, Justin? What's up, boys? Pantoja's 100% underrated. He looked great against Moreno. He's very good. I was there for that one, Justin. I was surprised he won. He won that decision for sure. Kyle will be the bigger man. He'll be. There's no stats on UFC stats. He'll probably be slightly bigger though. Yeah, but I think again, Pantoja can grind him out. Pantoja with a win, second best of all time behind DJ. He possibly could be. He really has almost cleaned the division though. I mean, he's getting there for sure. Again, he has. The one guy I was thinking, like, and looking at his resume, Askarov. He retired or something, right? Or they cut him. What happened with Askarov?
I think he lost to Kai Kara in a fight. I think that
it could have went either way, honestly.
Yeah, and after that, I don't know, man, what happened. He's kind of
promotion now, isn't he? Isn't he back in ACA?
He's in ACA, yeah.
It's weird because I think he's good. He was very good. I think
he was very good. Yeah, he beat Pantoja. Yeah.
Cejudo dropping back down. That's another option too. You know what? Like I think he has kind of trolled the idea, but he's older too. I mean, is he going to cut that weight? I don't know. Maybe if they give him a title shot. John Dodson's a good fighter too. He had a couple of good fights with Demetrius Johnson, or he was a good fighter, I should say. Tamarov's good. There's some guys coming up there are killers, man. Yeah,
so he's still young. He's still young.
At flyweight, not really. He's probably got a couple.
I know.
Yeah. All right. Okay, we're good with that. Okay, so and Asu Amabayev, yeah, he's good. All right, let's just recap it quickly. So we had mostly the same picks on the card, but there was a few differences.
Griffin, Chiesa.
So we'll just go. I'll go through it from bottom to top.
Okay.
Just to recap it. We both took Kennedy. We both took Guida. Or sorry, we both took Hooper. My bad. Both took Hooper. I took Griffin. Marcel took Chiesa, so that was a dog pick for Marcel. I took Van. Marcel took a dog in Durden. We both took Anders. I took Battle. Marcel took another dog in Brown. We both took Evloev. We both took Themba. We both took Reyes. I took Dooho, Choi as a dog. Marcel took Landwehr. We both took Bryce. We both took Gon. We both took Shavkat. We both took Pantoja. So mostly the same, Marcel, but there were, I think, 4 fights different. So 10 of the same, 4 different. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm looking for it. Oh, God, some guys in the chat being weird. Come on, dude. See, I don't understand people like that, man. Like, don't you have something better to do? Honestly, like, don't you got like a girl to like chill with or something, dude? You know what I mean?
Probably
Coming
not.
here to troll chat. It's just weird. I don't get it. I never understood it, man. I don't know, Marcel. When I'm not like working, I'm like playing video games. I'm watching some football or something. I'm not trolling.
You wanted to say porn?
No. Oh, that's you. You're staring at Natalia Silva's like pictures on. She definitely knows you look at her stories. By the way, you're always looking at them.
I don't mind. She knows.
Yeah.
It's okay.
All right, we're good here, Marcel. let's end the podcast. Great, guys. We're going to do a really quick one afterwards. If you want, you can join us. I'll tweet it out. We're going to do fight announcements, and we'll do the PFL recap. But once again, we appreciate you guys joining us for the UFC 310 preview. We'll be back next Sunday once again for the UFC 310 recap, and then we'll preview UFC Tampa, which is the last card of the year. Once again, follow me on Twitter at MMAOB. That's Big Marcel 24. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about it, guys. The podcast, we appreciate it. We've grown a little bit over the year. You know, it's still not the biggest podcast out there, but we have a good little community here, and we appreciate you guys. So thank you. And like I said, we're going to do a short podcast here, guys, doing fight announcements and PFL. So give me a second here, and I'll tweet it out. Thanks, and talk to you guys soon.